This video is sponsored by Tango. About half a year ago, I found myself in this situation where I was working my 9-to-5 data scientist job in tech while taking CS221, a Stanford course for artificial intelligence for credit, and also creating data science content on Instagram on the side all at the same time. At this point in my 20-some years life, I am very well aware that I'm one of those people who tend to overcommit themselves, especially when it comes to my career, anything that can help me in terms of personal and professional growth. With that being said, in the last few years of overcommitting myself, I have learned a thing or two on having a better time management skill to be able to do all the things that I sign up for myself to do. I'm not a productivity expert and definitely still actively learning and exploring on many fronts myself, but in today's video, I'm going to share with you the 7 most important things that I have learned through my personal trial and error experience on how to create more time in a day in order to achieve your goals. And let's dive right into it. Tip number 1, set clear goals to guide your focus and help you sustain momentum. Research conducted at Leadership IQ by a group of neuroscientists show that people who vividly describe or picture their goals are up to 1.4 times more likely to achieve these goals than people who don't. For me, I had 3 overarching midterm goals while class is in session. I wanted to 1, finish my Stanford course with a grade of B or higher, 2, not letting my extracurricular activities affect my work performance, and 3, post on social media consistently. Setting clear goals is critical for time management because it helps you stay focused and avoid wasting time on low priority tasks. You can break down each one of your goals into milestones and further break down your milestones into individual achievable tasks. This way, all of your actions are oriented towards these goals, which in turn gives you a sense of purpose and help you sustain the same momentum that you had when you first started on these tasks. And as a result, you're more likely to spend your time on the right actions and achieve these goals. Tip number 2, use Eisenhower matrix to prioritize the more important tasks. The Eisenhower matrix is a prioritization and task management framework that helps you organize and prioritize tasks by urgency and importance. Once you have identified clearly your goals, milestones, and then tasks, you might realize that you don't actually have the time for all of these tasks. This is where the Eisenhower matrix can come in to help you divide your tasks into 4 boxes: important and urgent, important but not urgent, urgent but not important, and lastly, tasks that are not urgent and not important. By identifying your more important and urgent tasks for the day or for the week, you can then create a to-do list of tasks you do first, tasks you schedule for later, and tasks you delegate to other people because your time and skills can simply be better spent elsewhere, and the tasks that you end up tossing out the window altogether. Tip number 3, have a paper to-do list and sticky notes handy. I find paper to-do lists to be a very effective time management product for 2 reasons. One, and the most important in my eyes, is that by having your task physically in front of you, you spend less time thinking and stressing about what you have to do next. Having to remember everything that you need to get done for a given day is mentally exhausting and stressful. I have definitely been there, and it's not uncommon for me at the end of the day to forget a task or 3, especially when all these tasks come from different domains in your life, such as school, work, errands, appointments, social commitments, and so on. And the second reason paper to-do lists are super helpful is that the tangible action of writing down your tasks is actually a very good exercise that signals to your brain, okay, this is what I'm going to do today, or this is what I'm going to do this week, and you're more likely to commit to them as a result. Tip number 4, know and plan for what's coming. There are a lot of uncertainty and surprises in life, but let's be honest, you probably have a pretty clear idea of what your day or week looks like in general ahead of time. Let's start with the certain ones. School, on one hand, is extremely predictable. My lectures take place at the same time every week. Even the office hours are recurring weekly events on my calendar. I know my midterms was going to be and when my assignments are due before the semester even started. And I also know for a fact that having a full-time job is not an acceptable excuse to ask for an extension. So at the beginning of the semester, I like to sit down and put all of the important dates, deadlines, class schedules, class times, and study times into my calendar. This way, if my friends and I want to go to a concert in, let's say, 5 weeks' time, I can look ahead and say, okay, I don't have too many deadlines around this time. Or maybe I do, but I can plan ahead of time to study and make my decisions based on what is actually happening that week and the weeks leading up to it. Work, on the other hand, may not always be predictable. In my experience working at a tech startup, there are alternating periods of busy and non-busy times, but you sort of learn over time and start seeing the patterns of when certain events or deadlines may trigger a long workday or a stressful work period, and then you can try your best to plan around that. Tip number 5, use Pomodoro technique to keep track of time time spent. This happens to me a lot where I think I can edit a YouTube video in 3 hours, but it ends up taking me an entire day. Or when I say I would take a break to go on my phone for 10 minutes and end up finding myself in this time crunch, anxious state after scrolling past tens and hundreds of reels. There are two scenarios here. One is to better estimate how long it takes to complete a task, and the other is to have a better grasp of concept of time when you're actually performing this task. Luckily, Pomodoro technique can help you with both. If you haven't heard of it already, the Pomodoro technique is a time management method developed by Francesco Cirillo in the late 1980s. Originally, it was used by a kitchen timer to break work into intervals, typically 25 minutes in length, separated by short breaks. Nowadays, there are many free apps in the App Store that you can just download to your phone where you can turn on what they call focus mode for a predetermined period of time, and you can choose whatever time interval that works for you. For example, when I need to code, I generally find 25 minutes to be too short because it usually takes me a bit longer to get into a flow state, and having an alarm goes off not too long after I start to really focus is not helpful. I like to set a schedule where I work for 50 minutes and break for 10 minutes. And when I know there's a time limit for a certain task, for example, I can only spend on content creation for 50 minutes today. If I know once the scheduled time has passed, I won't be able to work on it anymore, I find myself working with a sense of urgency and is generally a lot more efficient and productive within these focused periods. Tip number 6, leverage technologies to automate repetitive tasks. You probably have heard of ChatGPT, and there are many videos on the internet about how you can leverage it into your advantage. I personally use it to do my initial research for content creation, and I also use it in conjunction with Stack Overflow for some coding help from time to time. It frees up so much of my time to be able to achieve more. According to research conducted by Harvard Business Review, knowledge workers spend a great deal of their time, an average of 41%, on discretionary activities that offer little personal satisfaction and could be handled competently by others. In today's age, a lot of these tasks can also be automated by technologies, and I definitely don't think there's anything wrong with leveraging AI to become more effective with your time. There are other emerging tools, for example, using Notion AI to help you write better and using Tango to automate documentation processes. Now I want to spend a moment to talk about the sponsor of this video. Tango is a Chrome extension that enables you and your team to create beautiful how-to guides and documentations by automatically capturing screenshots of your browser workflows. It can be applied to make a difference in both your personal and professional life. An example of this is if you want to show your relatives how they can access the photos and videos that you shared on Instagram, all you have to do is to click the capture workflow in Chrome and go through the steps as you normally would. A step-by-step guide will then be generated automatically for you that you can save as a PDF and share with others. Similarly, if you're someone at work who is, for example, always tasked with onboarding interns to all the tech stacks, you only have to perform this task once with Tango, and then you can share the same PDF guide with all the future interns. Tango is free to get started, and I'll leave a link in the description box below if you want to try it out. Tip number 7, be prepared to pivot with a positive attitude and a long-term vision. What I mean is life happens, and sometimes it throws unexpected challenges your way. You may have created the perfect plan to tackle your week's to-do list, but then suddenly get sick and can't get out of bed for 2 days, or you may have an urgent task at work added to your already very full plate, or your roommate may be hogging all the Wi-Fi bandwidth when you leave an important Zoom interview. While there are predictable things like assignments and work hours, you can never fully anticipate everything that will happen. In these situations, having a positive attitude towards change can make you more resilient. For example, stressing about a new task at work or blaming the person who assigned it to you will not help you complete your other tasks any faster. It will distract you from managing your time effectively and efficiently. When you find yourself in a time crunch and feeling stressed, I find it really helpful to just ask yourself, what is the worst thing that could happen if I didn't finish this on time? It's likely that the obstacles you see in front of you right now won't have a significant impact in the long run. And there you have it, 7 tips to be more effective with your time. I hope you found these tips helpful. If you have any other tips or tricks for being more productive, let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe for more productivity and data science content. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.